We're talking track. Because one of the things that I have grown to appreciate and understand more as I get into this landscape is that track and field gives us a really nice glimpse into the recruiting world. Because I know this for a fact. I know people who are recruiting these players are paying attention and that they're watching the state track meet. And you were down there in Austin this week and got to see some remarkable results.
Yeah, and I guess we were going to call it Recruits of the Week this week, so we can kind of talk about some of the top stars of the track meet, because some of them were 2024 signees that we've kind of, as far as this week in recruiting is concerned, we kind of turned the page, right, to 2025. But 2024 Humble, Atascocita, and LSU signing Jelani Watkins won the 100-meter dash with a 10.19.
Rude.
Crazy speed. And he helped Humble, Atascocita win the 4x100, setting a new state record with a 39.14, which topped Odie Wyatt's 39.76 back in 1998. So this is an elite track squad. As a matter of fact, they now hold the top 2 times in the national records because they broke that 39.14 time earlier this spring. So, I mean, the Humble Atascocita team edged out Duncanville for that gold medal, and Jelani Watkins had no one to edge out as he ran away from the competition in the 100 meter.
Like, I want you to think about that. 39.14 in the 4x1 is like, you've got 4 dudes each running a sub 10 100.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. And like when you watching the video, you can see like the transition between where the handoffs are for Atascocita is amazing. They almost seem to get out of the starts faster. And I think that's what really helped them beat Duncanville in this race, is that the baton passing was seamless. Those weren't the only guys at the state track meet that stood out.
I know one guy that you had your eye on going into this, and I think everybody did, was kind of we've called him the fastest man in Texas high school football. It's Ernest Campbell, the Texas A&M signee from Refugio. He once again won another gold medal in the 100, ran a 10:49. So he's a four-time 100-yard or 100-meter champ.
Yeah, and to give a little perspective on this, he ran a 10.20 last year. So I mean, maybe Jelani Watkins can wear 10.19 to 10.2. Both of those guys are really fast. Campbell ran a 10.49 this year, but he was playing hurt. Right. Not too many people know that. He was playing hurt in this track meet. He barely qualified for state because he had an injury at regionals. So he took the 200-meter dash off so he could concentrate on the 100-meter dash and then help his team to gold in the 4x1 and the 4x2 there at Refugio. But Texas A&M is getting a speed demon in Ernest Campbell. And if you're a Texas A&M fan, I encourage you to go listen to the interview following Ernest Campbell's 4th gold medal winning performance at UIL State, because he kind of gives us the insight behind how he stayed in Mike Elko's recruiting class. Bit of a spoiler, it's because he's fast.
Yeah, it's probably because he's fast. Another guy who's very fast, and by the way, he's a guy who is fast, and he's football fast too. It's not just track fast. There's track fast and football fast, and he's both. Same goes for Will Henderson, the outstanding playmaker from Gilmer, who helped lead them to a state championship this past year. He takes home more gold from Austin this year, and somebody signed this kid.
No doubt.
What are we doing here? What more do you need to see?
I can remember the 3 in-state schools that he visited off the top of my head. It was SFA, Texas Tech, and UTSA. He took that SFA visit right after he won the state championship at Gilmer at AT&T Stadium, I think the very next weekend, or maybe even the weekend of, while the rest of those state championship games were going on. But as this thing kind of progresses to the finish line, here's a little perspective on it. Will Henderson was thinking about running in the Olympics, or trying to train to run in the Olympics. So there were some moving parts going on in the Will Henderson recruitment, namely that he wanted to put his full focus on what was an important track season. Multi-sport state champion now at Gilmer. I think it's going to come down to UTSA and Texas Tech. UTSA, of course, has their coach's name on the high school stadium that Will Henderson plays at. And Texas Tech is heavily invested in recruiting multi-sport, especially track athletes, and they're using that pitch to try to woo Will Henderson to campus. You know, you look at guys that were also in the state track meet like Jacoby Williams and Ramon's Adams, Malik Esquera, Adam Hill. Adam Hill won the 300-meter hurdles and the discus, or was it the shot put? I think it was the shot put.
One of the throw-in.
One of the throw-in events.
Yeah.
So he has speed and power. I thought that was really, really cool to see somebody like Adam Hill. He was in the 110-meter hurdle dash, but got DQ'd. That's really sad when you see a kid get DQ'd in the state track meet. So he wasn't able to compete in that. But can't feel too bad for him. He took home 2 gold medals.
Yeah, pretty good. I also want to make sure we mentioned that Atascocita beat Duncanville in the 4x1. Don't cry for Duncanville. They did bring home the 4x2 championship thanks to Caden Durham and, of course, star, soon-to-be senior wide receiver DeCorian Moore, who was critical in their victory.
Both LSU commits / signees. So those are like 3 LSU names that we've kind of recapped from the UIL state track meet. A lot of Texas Tech names in there, but you can kind of see a pattern here, fitting with some schools. Duncanville also set a state record in the 4x200 with their time, beating a mark that was set by the Woodlands back in 2018. So it wasn't as long-standing as the O.D. Wyatt record, but it is a state record, and Duncanville players are really fast. Headline, you know, Caden Durham gets a lot of the notoriety for that track. DeCorian Moore is a blazer, and that's why he's the #1 recruit in the state. He has a scary combination of speed, plus he's a dog on the field. Like, he takes no plays off. He's a good blocker. He's just got that mentality that I love, and that's what puts him to the top of the list.
It was a star-studded week at the state track meet. Let's continue with our prospect on the rise. Our prospect on the rise is Lago Vista 2025 athlete Swade Griffin. And Swade Griffin won gold in the 4A 110-meter hurdles, and a guy who is now the newest DCTF 3-star prospect. That's all you need to see.
Yeah, I was really excited to see him compete out there. Like, his 6'3", 185, 6'2", 185 size is legit. Rare size at the cornerback position. And that's where he's being recruited in college to play, is cornerback. Lago Vista has a really talented athlete in Swade Griffin. He's got 3 P4 offers with Texas Tech, Arizona State, and Minnesota. He was raving about the job that Texas Tech has done in his recruitment. Again, we've got an article, full-blown article that you can read about Swade Griffin's performance at the UIL State Track Meet, as well as some of the standout schools in his recruitment at texasfootball.com/recruiting. Texas Tech offered him in May of 2023.
Yeah,
so
sniff that one out. I would say that they're ahead of the game, and Swade Griffin, the newest DCTF 3-star, after his performance at the state track meet. It's This Week in Recruiting with Greg Powers, our director of recruiting here at Dave Campbell's Texas Football. Get involved in the conversation, #TF Today. Let's roll on to our Underclassman of the Week. Our Underclassman of the Week, this is a very track-centric episode, I should tell you. Don't worry, we'll get to the barbecue and the real meat of the episode.
Yeah, there you go. I like that.
Let's go to our Underclassman of the Week. It's Winnsboro junior wide receiver Camden Capehart. You wrote about him on TexasFootball.com. He won the 4A 100-meter dash with a 10.44. He's got 8 offers, including places like UTSA, Cal, and Arizona State. But Camden Capehart, Winnsboro put up big numbers last year offensively, and then you see a guy like this, and you're like, oh, I can see why that happened.
Camden Capehart won with a 10.44, but at the White Oak meet earlier this year, a 10.08.
That's insane. A
10.08 is just crazy. I mean, that's crazy speed. And, oh, by the way, he averaged over 26 yards per catch. So he's not just fast. He's good in pads, and that's why you're starting to see his offer list take off quite a bit. There was a day in Camden Capehart's life where he ran a 10.08 100-meter dash, played a baseball game where they beat Quitman 4-2, and picked up his first 3 scholarship offers, all in one day earlier this year.
That was a good day.
That was a great day.
A good day for Camden Capehart. Yeah, very impressive. And then, of course, this weekend, Friday, I believe it was a very good day as well.
Yeah,
He ran,
hoisting that gold medal.
Yeah, getting that gold medal. Camden Capehart, just a junior there at Winnsboro, a name to know, and a guy who's going to be sticking around in our recruiting cycle for quite a while. Let's round it all out with our commit of the week. Our commit of the week doesn't have to do with track, because I guess you could commit at the track meet.
Yeah,
that'd be kind of a baller move, honestly.
If somebody had committed at the track meet like Will Henderson, maybe we could have slid him
Next
into
year,
the spot.
live commitment at we'll broadcast it. It's Dillion Arkansas, the outstanding outside linebacker for Denton Ryan. He committed this week to TCU. Had offers from places like Baylor, like Utah, like Mizzou, but the Horned Frogs keep Dillion Arkansas at home. A really nice get for a guy who is at the core of one of the most exciting defenses in DFW. Yeah,
and he's an extremely versatile and athletic outside linebacker. Extremely good in coverage. Mm-hmm. I mean, he's almost like a safety playing the linebacker position or a receiver. It wouldn't be a huge shock to me to like know that he played receiver in the recent history of his football career. Arkansas tracks the football very naturally, has great closing speed, good explosion, catches, it's weird to say this about a defender, catches anything that's in his vicinity, and plus he's not afraid to stick his nose in and blow up a running back and deliver a big hit. This is back-to-back weeks that TCU's had our commit of the week. Last week it was DeSoto's Keelan Abrams, and I feel like I'm about to do the Moneyball bit now where you create them in the aggregate.
Yeah.
These two linebackers both bring like special qualities to the table. You know, you're talking about Arkansas's ability to cover and kind of play like a new age style of football where Abrams is more as that pin your ears back and flat out get after the quarterback to use his, first step explosion to get downhill in a hurry. These two players, their games complement each other extremely well. So tip of the cap to TCU, who found a pair of the state's best linebackers over the last couple weeks.
Dillion Arkansas heading to Fort Worth. They commit for the TCU Horned Frogs. And a tip of the cap to Greg Powers, our director of recruiting. Here at Dave Campbell's Texas Football. Follow him on Twitter at GPowersScouts. He has fine work at texasfootball.com/recruiting. Right now, we tip the hat to him. He's going to take off his recruiting editor hat, and he is now going to put on his barbecue editor hat, and we'll get to him in just a moment.
Couldn't be happier to stick around for that segment.